Turn on DC on the power brick, and then you can put your phone on top. It should do wireless charging. shouting elements this cameraman. Some good ambient sound. Yeah, but
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Wollaton Park in Nottingham, where today mighty oaks out of acorns grow. This is the English Schools Cross Country Championships, which for decades has been a vital launching pad for dozens of world champions, Olympians, Commonwealth medalists, and lifelong fans of the sport. 6 great races are ready to burst into life as young English athletes go for glory for themselves, for their families, and for their counties. Now, we've got a total of 7 cameras out on the course. It's not the usual whistles and bells that you would be used to watching on a World Cross Country Championships, but the whole point of this is that we're shining a light on this vital platform for young boys and girls, young men and women, to begin their athletic careers. And there is serious talent on display this afternoon. If you happen to be watching or listening, send me a tweet at Rob Walker TV, and I'll try and read out your messages. I've already got a few coming in. Tim Hutchings, double World Cross Country Championship silver medalist, says, at my first English schools in 1973, I was a rugby player with running talent. I finished crying in pain in about 75th place in my knackered old heavy cotton Sussex vest, having run in hockey boots. And there you go. All those years later, he became a World Cross Country silver medalist in 1984, and then also finished second in 1989, behind John Nyangugi, I think, the legendary athlete who seemed to just float across the mud. So there we are, they're all in the pens. We start with the under-17s, the intermediate girls. It'll be a short, sharp blast of 3.9k. As I said, we haven't got endless cameras around the course, but they've done a really good job here, English Schools, with a company called 24/7, who are using all sorts of modern technology far beyond the comprehension of a 48-year-old sitting here in the commentary box. But they're just coming forward now into the pens, and if you are watching this and you were once one of these young athletes, as I was, the nerves are awful, aren't they? No matter where you are in the pen, it's a flat-out charge to try and get yourself in a good position. It was raining quite heavily about 2 hours ago, but it's not very cold at all, although I'm pretty sure the course will cut up by the end of the afternoon. We're going intermediate girls, then we'll have junior boys, junior girls, inter boys, and we finish with the senior girls and then the senior boys at 3:05. I hope this camera crew are quick on their feet, whoever he or she is, because they are about to be overwhelmed by hundreds of athletes just getting ready to go. It's really important, all of us who are fans of British athletics and English athletics, support great events like this. So here we go then, with the first of 6 races just about to start. They're underway. A flat-out sprint on this, the widest section of the course, before we narrow. As I said, it looks okay at the moment. The car park area was very, very heavy underfoot. A huge number of spectators, well, mainly friends and family, have turned out to watch, and they'll be as relieved as anyone that it is no longer hammering with rain. So keep your messages coming in. I'll do my best to stay on top of who's where. And how about this? I've just had a message from Paula Radcliffe. Thanks very much to Paula. I don't know whether she's watching, but I asked her for her memories of the English Schools cross country, where she has enjoyed great success. Paula says, I loved the English Schools cross country. It was always a highlight of mine growing up. Such an experience, not just the scale and importance of the race, but the staying with the host families and the team spirit aspect. It added to the honour and the motivation of the chance to represent England's schools athletics in the home country's international. So that's what it meant to a world record holder and a world champion, Paula Radcliffe. As I said, mighty oaks out of acorns do grow, and it is so important that English Schools continues to be supported financially in their bid to continue providing a great platform for young men and women to embark upon the beginning of what they hope will be a glittering career. And even for those who don't end up enjoying great success specifically as athletes, there are lots of other roles around the great sport of athletics that they could use their passion for. So great to get that message from Paula. Huge thanks to her. Paula won the senior girls in 1992. Hattie Deans won that one. As far as the intermediate girls are concerned, it's an absolute brilliant list of winners. Christina Boxer won this in 1973. If you're of the younger years, you might be thinking, well, who's that? Well, she was a brilliant athlete. Fourth in the 1500 in the Seoul Olympics. She got a world cross-country team bronze in 1982. Emily Pidgeon won this race in 2004. Jess Judd won it a couple of times, and we watched her in the final in Eugene last year over 10,000 metres. So some great careers have begun, and we've got a little group of 4 away from the rest, with one athlete running in isolation in 5th, just to the left of the picture. I will do my best to identify them when we get a closer shot, but just bear in mind, of course, that, as I said, we don't have the usual number of cameras. We're just trying to give these great athletes a platform and a profile. Pace has slowed just a fraction here. These 4 with a decent gap over the athlete who was running on her own in 5th. Now that could be Shakira King. She won the Inter-Counties under 15. She's 3 out of 3 so far this year in cross country, and she won the junior race last year, because the Leicestershire team colours, yellow with green and purple diagonal stripes, so it might well be Shakira King. The athlete who was in 5th has closed the gap, so a leading 4 is now a leading quintet, and there's a bunch just going through shot there, running in around about 9th, 10th and 11th places. There's the 5 of them all running together. You might just about be able to make out the map just on the bottom right of picture there. So these 5 are away, and that might be an Oxfordshire athlete in 6th. If it is, it could be Isla McGowan, who was 6th in the under-15s. Remember, we've got this slight discrepancy of age groups between the English schools and the inter-counties, owing to the fact that schools judge the year as starting on September the 1st, whereas the rest of athletics judges the age in the calendar year. So you do have some under-15 champions from the inter-counties this season who are here competing as intermediates. And there's a bold move off the front. Keep the tweaks coming in. Lovely long flowing stride, and the mud hasn't cut up too badly yet, but remember, this is the first race of 6, so it might be a bit boggy by the time the senior women and senior men come through. Senior women, by the way, just to mark your card, 2:35, senior men 3:05, the senior girls 4.5k, the senior boys 7k. So the group has really split now. We did have 5 running together. Now we have 1 or 2 just off the front. So easy to get your tactics wrong when you're a young athlete here, because if you're used to being the best in your school, primary, secondary, you're winning everything in sight, suddenly you come up to the English schools and it can be a real shock to the system to suddenly realise that there are lots of other athletes who are as good as you, if not better. So it can be quite a daunting prospect competing at the English schools. Perseverance is the key. If you're here with an athlete, or you're involved with coaching and you have an athlete who has a bad day here today, tell them to keep going and carry on. In the programme notes, the chairman of the English Schools Athletics says to remind us that a certain Keely Hodgkinson competed in the junior girls race in 2016 and finished 90th. Talking about a woman who, just a few days or a week or so past her 21st birthday, is a double European indoor champion, a World Championship medalist, an Olympic medalist, a Commonwealth medalist, who started off in 90th in the junior English schools cross country. So a long loop now for these three. I will give you the names when I get a chance, but I'm getting the same shots as you, so I cannot see the numbers. So keep your messages coming. So I've been told that might be 397. If it is, then that's Zoe Gilbody. Brilliant athlete. 33rd in the World Cross Country Championships. So Gilbody running really well. And that is Shakira King in second place. So good race unfolding between these two. Isabel Jones is in third place for the West Midlands. She wears bib 493 in the red. But Zoe Gilbody is an excellent athlete. Had that experience at Bathurst and the driving wind. It was brutal there. They ran through the vineyard if you were watching the races, and an extraordinary end to the senior women's race, with Letesembet Guide collapsing when she looked on the verge of victory. So Gilbody leading, Shakira King in second, Isabel Jones in third. Gilbody was second to Innes Fitzgerald at the inter-counties, but of course because of this differential between the inter-counties age group and the English schools age group, Fitzgerald will compete in the seniors here. King's just on the left now, being obscured by the athletes coming up behind her. Gilbody looks quite strong. I wonder whether whether King is beginning to feel it. She won the inter-counties at the under-15 age group. She won the junior race here last year. Now she's coming across towards the middle of the course, possibly a little glance over her shoulder there to Isabel Jones. Fascinating to wonder how many of these young women will still be involved in athletics, in distance running, in cross country, in marathon running in 10 or 15 years time. Many of them, we hope, because at the very least this will be helping them to form a lifelong bond with this great sport that we love so much. I've had a message from Mara Yamauchi. There is Zoe Gilbody. And Mara says she never raced English schools because she specialised in running at the age of 18, but she was sorry she never had a chance to compete on this great platform. She says so many of her rivals loved the fact that they came through the English schools setup. Mara Yamauchi, joint top result, I think, ever by a British woman in the marathon, with 6th in Beijing. Zoe Gilbody going really well, the Shropshire athlete. Isabel Jones still going well. So you can hear the cheers of those on the sidelines. It's probably even more nerve-wracking for the parents and the coaches and the friends and the brothers and sisters as it is for the athletes themselves. Every place counts, of course, because we've got this brilliant county team competition going on. And by the way, just to mark your card, the top 10 in each of these races will be selected for the SIAD event next weekend at Sefton Park, the Schools International Athletics Board, the home nations next weekend. But what a performance this is by Zoe Gilbody. King looks to have rallied a fraction. There's a big gap, so Isabel Jones has been overtaken. She's no longer in third. It might be an Oxfordshire athlete in third at the moment, but there's no denying who the winner's going to be. Zoe Gilbody, second to Innes Fitzgerald at the Inter-Counties, but it's all gold here in Wollaton Hall Park. Great run by Gilbody. She is the English Schools cross-country champion for the intermediate girls. Shakira King with a great second place. Remember, she's just stepped up to this age group. She won the juniors only last year. 3.85 in third. It is the Oxfordshire athlete Isla McGowan, sixth in the Inter-Counties. That's a brilliant third place. 13 is Sophie Jacobs. She was fifth in the Inter-Counties. 3.98. Well, what a good team performance Shropshire may well have, because that was Bethany Troe coming across the line. She was third in the under 15. 4.57. That's Katie Pye of Surrey. And now a big group coming across the line. Remember, the first 10 will be competing at the SIAD event next weekend. The top 8 individually, and I believe 9th and 10th will be in the team event. Give a mention to as many athletes as I can. 27. Caris Westcott from Berkshire, 63. Esme Harvey, she was fifth in the under 15s at the Inter-County, so a tough step up in age group. Just saw 62 there. Imogen Wharton, she was 19th in the under 15s. 4.69 on the left. In the yellow is Ava James of Sussex, and still they pour forward. Remember, we've got 6 to score in the team competition, and we have also what's known as the 8th place trophy as well. The organisers were explaining that to me last night. Of course, you can have a team of 8, of whom 6 scored, but there's also an award for the team who beats everyone if you include all of their runners, even the traditional non-scoring ones. I think that kind of makes sense. 4.81, just stopping her watch. Really old school, I love that. That's Evie Marston from Warwickshire. 2.31, just walking across shot, just flicking over the pages. 2.31, that was Lydia Greenwood. 17, Charlotte Williamson of Bedfordshire. 3.90 just coming through shot there. I think that was one of the Oxfordshire athletes. Yes, it was. That was Izzy Haynes-Gray, and I wonder whether she's aware, well, she will be soon, that Isla McGowan, her teammate, has got herself on the podium of the English schools. Short, sharp and very fast. And still they keep on coming. I'm just going to quickly check Twitter to see whether we've had any other messages. So we've heard from Tim Hutchings, double world cross-country silver medalist. We've heard from Paula Radcliffe, world record holder, world champion, a brilliant English schools cross-country champion. And by the way, if you're watching this or you know of an athlete competing over the 5 races still to come, send me a message. I'll try and read out if someone's overcome an injury or there's a particularly memorable reason why we should give them a shout out. Please do. We can be a little bit interactive on this. Evan Smith has written, my mum won this race at Alnwick Castle in 1994, and my sister Caitlin Smith is running today. Let me go back then. 1994. You'll have to forgive me, the print on these list of former champions is so small. Even with my glasses on, I'm struggling to read it. Let me go back to 1994, Evan. Alnwick Castle. Been there on holiday. Fantastic place. 1994. Well, that may well have been under her maiden name, because the winners were Swallow in the juniors in 94, Adams in the intermediates, and Slater in the seniors. But thanks very much for the message, Evan, and good luck to your sister competing later on. And there's a shout out here. Jane Tier says, good luck to all our Liverpool Harriers today, all part of the Merseyside team. So good luck to the Merseysiders. Thanks very much, Jane. Well, a great race there. Very, very enjoyable. So we're on, what are we on, 12:46 at the moment. And the junior boys are due off at 1 o'clock. So that was Zoe Gilbody finally getting herself on top of the podium after finishing second so many times to Innes Fitzgerald, who goes in the senior women, or senior girls, as is listed on the graphic. Good second place for Shakira King, and an excellent bronze for Isla McGowan, upgrading from 6th in the under-15 inter-counties. My old county, Oxfordshire, that's why I recognise the vest. And we await the news of the team competitions. So 1 done, 5 to go. I will take the shortest of breaks. Remember, if you want to give anybody a shout out, send me a tweet at Rob Walker TV. The junior boys race starts at 1 o'clock. And also, if you're watching this, if you're a potential sponsor, if you're someone who feels you can lend a little bit of time, as I am doing and as many other people here volunteering are doing, get in touch with us at English Schools. It's an absolutely crucial platform for young men and women, and we must ensure that the English Schools continues to thrive. We've got the iconic English Schools Track and Field Championships coming up, I believe the Saturday of which is the 1st of July. So maybe you could come along to Birmingham and lend some support there. So junior boys coming next at 1 o'clock. Our first title has gone to a fabulous run, pulling through really nicely there. Shakira King came second, but the title went to Shropshire's Zoe Gilbody. I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, I'm sure some of you are just keeping this feed tickling along in the background as you wait for the junior boys to start at 1 o'clock. Loads of messages coming through. Rebecca Ward, good afternoon to you. She says, please give a shout out to Henry Ward and all the Lancashire team. Neil Sparrow, good afternoon to you. Says he's watching from Switzerland. That's the wonder of modern technology. Come on, Neil, that's no excuse. You should be here in the mud, although there's no wind or rain. It's actually quite mild. Neil is watching, cheering on his goddaughter, Alice Stolberg, who's just gone in the intermediate girls. I will try and get a confirmation of where she finished. Merlotti says, looking forward to the junior girls. Lots of Team Essex girls to cheer on. Looks like she's got some connections with Chelmsford AC. Becky Willoughby, good afternoon to you. She says, please can you give the Cumbrian runners a shout out from Kendal Amateur Athletics Club, Leven Valley and the Border Harriers and the Cumberland Fell Runners. Duly done, Becky. No problem. James Chapman, best of luck to all the Merseyside team. Big shout out to Jack Chapman running in the junior boys race. I'm sure, I don't know if that's your son or your nephew, your cousin. You must be super proud. Takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to even be selected for an English school, so congratulations to them. This is a brilliant bit of self-promotion by somebody connected to a company called Better Talk. Rob, the country's best renewable heating engineers are rooting for the Suffolk brothers, Roman and Luca, running at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Dale Holmes, your son Caspian Holmes, is running in the next race for London. Give the London team a big shout out. Karen Elliott, good luck to your son Arthur Elliott, representing Cheshire in the junior boys. No doubt he is getting poised and ready. The junior boys start in around about 8 minutes. Lovely to get your messages here. It obviously means a great deal to everybody connected to these athletes that they've made it here to the start line. And remember, if you are with an athlete or you're connected to an athlete who doesn't have a very good day, it doesn't matter. Other chances will come, and some great champions, some world beaters, have started off with difficult experiences in the English schools. Right then, our second race is not too far away. The junior boys. How about this? Eamon Martin won this race in 1973. I don't think he had the trademark tash, the pride of Essex, just back then. Peter Elliott won in 1977, 8 years before he became the Olympic silver medalist in Seoul in '88. And Spencer Duval won in 1984. I can remember watching Spencer when he was a senior, when I was a junior, and I couldn't believe how he floated around the mud and the courses. I specifically remember a day at St Helens, which was awful from a junior perspective, but watching Spencer, it was like watching a god just float around the mud. And Great Britain's Mo Farah happened to win this race back in 1997. So you never know. One or two of those nervous faces bobbing about could be representing Great Britain in a few years' time at a Commonwealth Games, a European Champs, a World Cross, a World Outdoor Champs, or maybe even the biggest one of all, the Olympic Games. Junior boys race over 4.2k. .388, bouncing around on the start line, looking a little bit nervous. I'm just scanning over for the name. 388. That was Rory Wilson, I think. 161 near the camera. That's Harry Stockhill of Essex, just towards the left of picture. We just want to mention as many of these young athletes as possible, because they might get their family saying, oh, I saw you, I heard you. 301. That was 301. William Delamere, 7th in the intercounties, under 13. Remember, some of the intercounties stepping up here because this is a schools age group. They've got a really good team from Merseyside, because alongside Delamere, who was 7th in the under 13s, is Caleb Still, who was 9th. So watch out for Merseyside in that team competition. Hopefully, yeah, that's a dog being kept under control. Apparently in recent years we've had dogs running across the start area.
All right, okay. We'll have a real spot.
Lots of messages coming through. Good luck to Jack Richaud running in the junior boys race, and all the Leicestershire team. Thanks to all the volunteers. Rich Caburn says big shout out to all those running from the training group at Taunton AC, from the coaches Rich, Rob, Arthur and Dave. Kim James says well done to Zoe and to Shakira. Different schools but same club. Reconsaw Valley. I've got a picture coming in here. Martin Pottage. Great to get this prestigious event on TV. Can you give a shout out to the athletes from Humber County and my daughter Lois? She's keeping warm with what I think they call those, the picture I've been sent, it's like a dry robe that I think swimmers use. The weather's actually been quite kind to us this afternoon. brilliant. Keep your messages coming. As I say, we can be a little less formal here because it's not, we're not live on network TV. We can give shout outs, and it's important that this is as interactive as possible, and maybe one or two of you who might be recording this, for some of the athletes, they might be delighted to hear their names. This is a really, really big deal to compete in the English schools. I can remember my debut like it was yesterday. Got spiked and fell over in the first 200 metres, and it took me most of the race mentally to recover from that. But it didn't stop me forming a lifelong bond with athletics, which is still going strong today. Although, of course, not by way of being an elite on the track and cross country. The English schools was the peak of my abilities. Right then, junior boys, 4.2k. The start is just 2 minutes away.
And are the toilets that side or that side? Right, I'll do that. You've been travelling 2.5 hours. You've been stuck for the last hour and a half by the roundabout here. Yeah, just couldn't get on. So we've missed the race.
I'm just trying to get the official results up on my phone.
So we left at like half 10. No, we left at 10 o'clock. Only from Sheffield, and we've just arrived.
Struggling to get them at the moment. Just waiting for the full confirmation to come up from the intermediate girls. I will try and bring you the confirmation of the team competitions, but the website I'm using on my phone here in this little reporter cabin isn't uploading at the moment. So let's get back to concentrating on the junior boys. Some of these lads, there's Merseyside on the left, they've got a really good team, as I mentioned. Some of these lads are stepping up to the under-15s for the first time, because at inter-counties they run under 15s, under 13s. Athletics Weekly following the progress here, which is great. .181 going through shot. That was Evan Grime from Greater Manchester. The sun's coming out. Little wave there from 25. Who was that? That was Theobald Mingray from Berkshire. Some of these boys look very relaxed and some look ever so nervous. It's a terrifying moment. Number 1 is Ewan Sperry. He was in the pen there, pen 36 for Avon, 4.81.13. That's Harry Scott, that was, from Bedfordshire. They are just about to go. The junior boys are underway. Just a reminder, if you're joining us, this is the English Schools Cross Country Championships. The junior boys running 4.2k. The start of the course, as is always the case in major cross country, is very wide, but there's an almighty sprint to battle for the right position as the course begins to narrow. Eamon Martin, Peter Elliott, Spencer Duval, Mo Farah. Great careers have begun on grass and mud just like this. The arrow formation, there's one lad just running with that distinctive arm movement. He was running wide on his right hand side, our left, and now it begins to narrow once again. Looks like it's 2.27 leading. That's Oscar Nagilangnam.
Go on, Luca! Go on, Harry!
2.41 leading. 2.41 is Joseph Skeins of Kent. So Joseph Skeins Also going well in the early stages is Evan Grime of Greater Manchester, who we saw on the start line. A huge variation in physiques. Look how tiny the athlete in red is, in contrast to Grimes. Boys developing at different stages. So now we begin to settle in to the middle part of the race. Different to the intermediate girls, where we had a group of 4 that was 5 and then got whittled down with Zoe Gilbody's break off the front. Here we've got a steady stream of around 15 or 20 running together. Good pace being produced here. And now a little trio beginning to pull away. Evan Grime, the taller of those 3 figures. And he's being tracked every step of the way by a lad who must be about a foot shorter than him. I'll try and get his name when I can. Talking about the young lad who's now in the lead in the red vest with the white or gold hoop. So 3 now beginning to pull away from the rest. That's the long back section of the course, 4.2, and these young men are pretty quick, so they'll eat up the ground quite fast. It won't last long here. Evan Grime leading. Second place is athlete 494. 494 is Noah Homer from the West Midlands.
I think so, yeah. Somewhere.
Is this finish here?
As I said, the total contrast in physiques. Joseph Skeins coming back to the front once more. He's wearing the light blue of Kent. But it's the small figure of Noah Homer leading at the moment. Homer from Skeins, from Evan Grimes, and then there's only a small gap actually, back to 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. So interesting to see whether the diminutive figure of Noah Homer can keep this going. Second in the West Midlands Champs. He's the tiny figure at the front, wearing the red with green and yellow hooped vest. And even these lads coming round now are really, really decent runners. They're probably the best in their school, and most certainly would have been the best in their primary school. It's a fast pace that's been set at the front. So from a county perspective, it's West Midlands, Kent, and it looks like Greater Manchester up at the front. The team competition's sure to be extremely competitive. Big fields assembled here. And if you get spiked, it's very hard to pick your way through there and find a gap. And it's also easy to get disheartened if you've been spat out the back. Keep it going, lads. We'll get an update from the front of the field quite soon. These are just the images from the very back of the field. Just a reminder, we've got 7 cameras on this, and they're using Wi-Fi and all sorts of technology to try and enable us to show this live. I believe we're going out on the English Schools platform as well as on the British Athletics YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure that young lad will have fallen over and been spiked, so all credit to him for carrying on. 494 and 493. Good running from both the boys from the West Midlands going through there, Fred Jones and Noah Homer, which bodes well for the West Midlands team competition. 1.58 there, the tall figure of Finlay McLaren going through shot. One or two of these lads wearing gloves. 1, 2, 3 just going through shot. That's Isaac Lammerton, come all the way from Devon. 49, let's give him a little shout out. Oliver Loveday from Cambridgeshire. 14, strong looking figure, Therese Capeland Jones of Bedfordshire. 164, that's Austin Kelly of Essex. The ground is just beginning to cut up a little bit, and we would expect that. It'll be sticky for the senior girls and senior boys. So this is the battle of the leaders, and I'm pretty sure this is still Joseph Skeins 2.41 in second place, wearing the light blue of Kent. And what a run this is by Noah Homer of the West Midlands. They had been alongside Evan Grime of Greater Manchester for quite a while, but he is not in shot at the moment. He might not be too far away, but it's hard to tell from this angle. Little glance over the shoulder there from Noah Homer. No, Grimes has gone backwards because he's not in that group, and it might actually be Fred Jones, Homer's compatriot, or county patriot, I don't know how you say it, you know what I mean. It might be the other West Midlandser, Fred Jones in third. There's Grimes just going through shot, so he's been dropped by the lead group, but still with an excellent run. Remember, the top 10 are coming back for the SIAD event next weekend, which stands for Schools International Athletics Ball. Top 8 will compete individually, and the next 2 will go in the relay. That's at Sefton Park next weekend. So there's a lot on the line here. A lot on the line. Oh, what a duel this could turn out to be. I'm pretty sure that is Fred Jones of the West Midlands in third, with his teammate Noah Homer leading, and Joseph Skeins of Kent in second place. A fine duel between the two athletes. And there's another athlete just getting, I'm trying to judge who that may be from the team colours in fourth there. While Homer's really stretching his legs down that ever such a slight descent there. Trying to pull away. He's got a lovely long flowing stride. And Skeins is with him here. And then there's a little gap back to Fred Jones. So just watching. He's been setting the pace here, Homer. P.O. Aaron is the other athlete in that group for Greater Manchester. So we had Evan Grime, who's still there in the background, and that's his teammate, P.O. Aaron, in fourth place. So Greater Manchester going well from a team competition perspective, but so too are the West Midlands. So it's Homer leading, Joseph Skeins wearing 2.41 in second, then P.O. Aaron now in third, with Fred Jones of the West Midlands in fourth, and Evan Grime just out of shot there in fifth place. Just waiting to see how close Grime is there as he comes into the foreground. Now he appears. Whether he can put that long flowing stride to good use and close the gap. 4 into 3 doesn't go. It's the awful moment in any race, isn't it? Men, women, boys or girls, as they begin thinking about the big wind up towards the finish. And of course, all 4 of them, if they finish, will be competing in the home international next weekend, but they'd love to get a gold, silver or a bronze. And there's nothing to separate the leading quartet at the moment. Homer has done most of the work for the West Midlands, but Aaron, just in the, I don't know what you would call that, orange and, is it orange and purple sleeves? He's worked his way up into that group quite nicely, and we'll need to pay close attention to see whether he's saved it for the big drive towards the finish. I think Fred Jones may have taken the lead there, and it looks to me, I'm looking far in the distance, I wonder whether Skeins of Kent has now been dropped and is in fourth. We'll try and confirm that when we get another shot of the leaders. I thought the light blue of Kent was just at the very back of that leading four, just as they disappeared out of shot, top right there in this picture. Keep your messages coming, of course. At some point I'll try and read more of them out, but I'm trying to concentrate on the race here because we're edging towards the business end, and this is an important moment for these young men. Right then, Noah Homer still looks like he's leading there. Needs to drive up that short, sharp ascent. P.O. Aaron is in second, Fred Jones in third, and Skeins was fourth, but he's beginning to rally, and he's gone past the Greater Manchester runner, and he's now up into second, Joseph Skeins. Great running by Homer. Grime is still in fifth, but there are others closing, including the athlete from Dorset. These boys battling for a top 10. Homer from Skeins. He's got a lovely long flowing stride, this little fella. Glances over his shoulder. He's been the one to set the pace, and you have to say it'll be a fantastic victory. Skeins is close enough here to close this gap. Noah Homer driving for victory here in the English schools. Is he going to be overtaken just at the very end of the race? He's run brilliantly, Homer. I think he's been overtaken by Joseph Skeins. Skeins had been dropped up that hill, but he's timed his run to the line to perfection. Wonderful stuff here by the light blue Kent athlete, Joseph Skeins. He'll always be able to say he's an English schools cross-country champion. Well done, young man. And a brilliant second place to Noah Homer. He worked really hard for that one. And P.O. Aaron has just outdipped Fred Jones for the bronze. But don't worry, Fred, you'll be in the Home Nations International next weekend. Grime is fourth. Was that a 2:05? That was Gabriel Wagstaff. Excellent run by the Hereford and Worcestershire athlete. A 1:33, that's the first string from Dorset, William Birchall. And then a big blast towards the line being won by the powerful looking Ewan Withnell, who was 11th in the Inter-Counties under-13s just last weekend, a couple of weeks ago. Great running there, and a brilliant win by Joseph Skeins. Noah Homer richly deserved his second place. P.O. Aaron was third. Fred Jones initially looked bitterly disappointed to miss out on the podium, but remember, the top 10 are all being selected for the Schools International Athletics Board event next weekend. A fine run by some very talented young men. Remember the names: Joseph Skeins, Noah Homer, P.O. Aaron and Fred Jones. Good running, lads. That was a superb race. Our little porter cabin is just on the left of picture there, and there's all sorts of parents cheering and wishing their lads well. Even a top 50, a top 75, a top 100 is great at the English schools. 387, who's that putting his hands on his head? Kit Kingsbury. 511 just coming through shot. That was Samuel Parry of West Yorkshire, and his teammate 508, Ben Slow. Well, he most certainly wasn't slow, and he gave the camera a little thumbs up there. Who's that? 257. Good afternoon to you after your English schools performance. 257, that was Max Winstanley of Lancashire. 318 just coming through shot. Marcus Solomon of Middlesex. A thumbs up from 271, wearing the old school baseball cap, Max Muddle. 270 is Ollie Lockton, so Leicestershire and Rutland packing well. I just saw 520 looking a little bit tired and a bit sad and sorry for himself. Don't worry, Joshua Stewart, that's an excellent run by you, the Wiltshire athlete. 488 gives the camera a wave, and that is Joel Ledgard of Warwickshire. A lovely wave to the camera there from 452. That is Alfie Jeffrey of Suffolk. Alfie, well done to you. You've successfully completed a brutal course that was short, sharp, hard and unforgiving. 101 coming across the line. He went for a little bit of Under Armour, and that's John Kavouridis of Cumbria, maybe with some Greek or Cypriot heritage there. 135. Well done to you, young man, successfully completing the course. Dylan Carr of Dorset. 201 in the green. Mac McIntosh, that's a great name, from Hampshire. That is a name you could commentate on in the Olympic Games. Mac McIntosh coming through for the bronze. 176. 176 is a Gloucestershire boy, Oliver Wilson. Well done to you. Brilliant race that. Very, very enjoyable. Skeins looked like he'd been dropped on one of those inclines, but he saved his drive for the line to perfection. And Homer was richly rewarded for setting the pace with an excellent silver. And we will see them in the SIAD competition next weekend. Great stuff. Keep your tweets coming. I'm on @RobWalkerTV. I'm going to take a momentary pause for a quick cup of tea in this very glamorous porter cabin, and then we will return with the junior girls who compete over 3.5k, and they are off in, where are we now? We 118 or 119? They're off in around about 11.5 minutes time. I'll be back with a few tweets in just a moment after I've had a quick brew and a cup of tea. We really hope you're enjoying our coverage. Yes, it's not the 15 camera steady cam presenter-led feast that you'll be used to seeing if it was on the BBC or if it was a World Cross Country Championships, but it's vitally important we show these boys and girls, these young men and women, in this great event that has been the springboard for many careers for literally decades and decades. The English Schools Athletics Association deserves to thrive, and the athletes competing today deserve to shine. Keep your messages coming. I'll be back after a brew. Right, here we are then, getting ready for the junior girls race, under 15s, scheduled to start in around about 4 minutes time. Once again, some great athletes have won this race. Charlotte Purdue went on to take a European Junior silver over 5,000 metres in 2009, and what a brilliant marathon runner she's turned out to be as well. A 2:23 in London. Didn't manage to finish in Eugene last summer, but she won this race in 2005. Emily Pigeon has won this a couple of times. 02 and 03 European Junior champion over 5,000 metres in 2005. So who is going to rise to the fore here? This is the official hall, which apparently featured in one of the Batman films. It is a rather gothic, iconic looking building here in the park. Great backdrop for the event. That's Wollaton Hall. So a wonderful setting. Marshall's just explaining to the under 15s, slapping the legs, adrenaline high, nerves jangling. 3:73 I could just see there. That's Sophia Chesterfield of Nottinghamshire, just tapping her shoulders in the, what would you describe that, green? Apparently it's called sage green. I didn't know there was a shade of green known as that. Nervous moments. We are on to race 3. We've had the intermediate girls, the junior boys. 2 fine victories for Zoe Gilbody of Shropshire in the intermediate girls, and Joseph Skeins of Kent, who timed his drive up that final hill to perfection. All credit as well to Shakira King of Leicester, who took the silver, Isla McGowan of Oxfordshire, who took the bronze, and similarly a silver for Horner of the West Midlands and a bronze for Pio Aron of Greater Manchester in that junior boys race. All canines sufficiently on leads. No interruptions please from them ahead of the race. This is the view looking back at the starting pens from up towards the first big turn. This is 3.5k, so it'll be over in a flash really. Some of these girls with excellent PBs over the 15, the 8 on the track. It is actually, it may, because it's somewhat overcast, you may think it's bitterly cold here. It isn't. It's actually surprisingly mild for cross country, and it hasn't cut up yet the course as badly as I thought it may have done when we first arrived, because there was a lot of rain over the first sort of, the middle part of the morning when everybody arrived and started getting ready, 10, 11 o'clock. Here they come then, getting themselves ready for the third race of the day. Really enjoying this, hope you are too. A quick message from Katie Ross. Good afternoon, Katie. A shout out to Ethan Esteban Prothering from Hearts. He's going in the senior boys race. Durham Johnson, that's a school, Durham Johnson School, so please give a shout out to Charlotte Dillon, Ben Beale, Will Jardine and Grace Carter, all competing today. That's a fantastic haul of athletes, all from the same school. Well done to you. St Edmund Pacers are running for Suffolk, enjoying the TV coverage. Thank you, Helena West. You wish you were here. Sending lots of luck and love to our darling Ellie Smith, running the junior girls of Bedfordshire, cheered on by a proud family at home and her coach, aka the best granddad ever, who's at the event. Another message through for Ellie Smith. So go well, Ellie. They're underway then in this junior girls English Schools Cross Country Championship final. A 3.5k burn up for glory, to go down in the history books alongside the likes of Charlotte Purdue as a champion over 3.5k. So fascinating to see how the early stages of this race will unfold. .49 in light blue, I think, running in the shades. That's Cressida Hughes of Cambridgeshire. She was 16th in the inter-counties. Is that 5:06? I think it might be. 5:06 is Kiara McKee of West Yorkshire. So those two setting the early pace. A couple of the Greater Manchester athletes going well in the early stages. One of those is likely to be Una McManus, who was 12th in the inter-counties under 13, wearing 181. But it's Kiara McKee of West Yorkshire who leads from Cressida Hughes, Cambridgeshire athlete, in second. And by the way, I think Cambridgeshire might have a shout here because they also have Jasmine Christmas in their lineup. She was 22nd in the under 13 inter-counties. And this is a bold piece of front running by Kiara McKee. Look how quickly she's split the field apart. It's only Cressida Hughes who's managed to go with her. And even though the camera crew here are doing a great job, the third place athlete isn't there. She is coming. There's the big pack. So the question here is whether McKee and Hughes for West Yorkshire and Cambridgeshire can keep this going. It's a very, very bold start to the race by both of them. So I really hope that McKee hasn't gone too hard too early. We've got a little group, I'm just looking towards the left of picture here. We've got the two leaders on the right. We've got a little group of about, what would you say, 3, and maybe then another little mini group of 4. So you probably, if you include them all together, you've got a chase group of 7, maybe 8. This is a sizable lead, but it's not an insurmountable one. And things can change at the back end of these races, especially if they've gone too hard too early. And McKee has now taken the lead from Cressida Hughes, and these two with a gap of around 6 or 7 seconds back to the athlete in third, who looks like she's got a green vest on. Great race unfolding here. They've grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. So if it's green, it may be a Dorset athlete in third. I'll try and confirm that when I'm able to get some names. I know Dorset are one of the counties who have more than a tinge of green in their vest, but then so too the Channel Islands and Wiltshire. Wiltshire is green with 2 white diagonal stripes. Channel Islands is green with a scarlet hoop. But it's still McKee leading, but they're beginning to close, aren't they? And Cressida Hughes in second place, wearing the shades and the gloves, is beginning to get reeled in by a little chase group of 3 now. Just trying to work out whether that is a pair of athletes from the same county. And I hope Hughes can keep going, because she's in danger of getting swept past here. She's now in third. Kiara McKee is still leading, but that advantage is not as big as it was 500 or 600 metres ago. Remember, this is 3.5k. Needs to use this opportunity now to try and lengthen that stride, work the lactic acid out of the legs and start thinking about the finish. She's extended that lead again down this little section. That's good running. Hughes has now drifted back into at least 4th. Remember, these are very, very young athletes, and this is a big deal today. Yes, okay, it's not live on the BBC or ITV or Channel 4, but it is being streamed, and for many of them this will be the biggest crowd they've ever performed in front of. And this is now going to be a big test for the young West Yorkshire woman. Kiara McKee still leading, but she's going to come under some pressure here, and Cressida Hughes has fallen further back. She's now no longer I'm just watching. Yeah, she's now drifted back to about 10th or 11th, so she's going to have to work hard to keep this going, the Cambridge athlete who was 16th in the inter-counties. McKee still leads, but she's got company now. So I'm being told it may well be South Yorkshire's Grace Igo in second place. And that would make sense because South Yorkshire have two very useful athletes. Granny Turner was 8th in the inter-counties and Grace Igo was 15th. And they are the two athletes now putting Kiara McKee under immense pressure. So it's South Yorkshire 1 and 3, West Yorkshire in 2. The fine county of Yorkshire, so huge geographically, it's split down into a number of different regions, not forgetting, of course, the very proud, very beautiful territory of North Yorkshire. So Yorkshire 1, 2 and 3. So it's Gregor Turner, Grace Igo, and the long-term leader, Kiara McKee. I wonder whether we could get a hat-trick for Yorkshire athletes. Remember, it's not that many years ago, 2006 in fact, when the double Olympic triathlon champion Alistair Brownlee took glory for Yorkshire in the senior boys, senior men's race. What a fine, fine athlete he is. Hard to believe that was only, what, 18 months before he made his Olympic debut in Beijing, where he wasn't too far away from the podium before going on to claim the golds in London and Rio so magnificently alongside brother Johnny. Olivia Forrest is up into that group as well. She's wearing 157, 4th in the inter-counties. She's representing Essex. 302 coming up on the outside. That's Molly Carville of Merseyside coming into the mix. A little look over the shoulder from 481. That's Olivia McGee of Warwickshire. She's a tall figure. Kitty Scott is running well here for Surrey. She was 3rd in the under-13s inter-counties. She wears 457, the gold with the brown badge. Turning out to be a good race, this. This is a big, big lead group now. The question is whether Kiara McKee can hang on, the early leader. And so too Grace Igo and Greggy Turner, the two South Yorkshire teammates who were right up there. Not long to go here. Remember, this is only 3.5k. I'll get to your messages again. I've had loads coming through, but let's focus on the race just for now. We'll have time afterwards to go over the messages of goodwill and support. I'll also try and give you an update on the all-important county team competitions. There is a team trophy for every age group. And of course what's called the 8th placed trophy, because you've got 8 with 6 to score, but there's a separate trophy for the team who get everybody home, all 8 ahead of the next best. So when we next see these athletes, we'll have a much better idea as to who is still in contention to take this junior girls title. We're approaching the halfway stage of our afternoon. It's 20 to 2. We've still got some wonderful racing to come. We've got the intermediate boys next at 2 o'clock, the senior girls at 2:35 and the senior boys at 3:05. This is English schools cross country. Loud and proud. I think we're going out on the British Athletics YouTube channel. We don't have the opportunity to do live TV coverage very often, but we all felt it was important to give a showcase to these young men and women. Right, 481, that's Olivia McKee leading, along with Molly Carville of Merseyside. Then there's a little gap, 157 and 159. Daisy Stollery and Olivia Forrest for Essex running well. This could be a real burn-up for the finish now. One of the athletes has had to stop there. That's a real shame as 3:04 comes through shot. That is Isla Pasta of Merseyside. So Merseyside have a good chance here in the team competition. 2:44 has just gone through shot. That's Sophie Richmond. She was 17th in the under 13 inter-counties. Well done to 98. That is Daisy Woodcock of Cumbria. 61 has just gone through shot. Bailey Hughes of Cheshire. Right, let's get back to the leaders then. 4:81, Olivia McGee. 3:02 is Molly Carville. 2:77 coming into the mix there. And that's Ella Rose Whitworth of Lincolnshire. So Whitworth, who was 17th in the inter-counties, has got one hand on a medal here. What a great finish we've got in prospect. Side by side, who's going to take this junior girls title? It's all still to play for here. Whitworth's been out of the top three, now she's coming back into it. What a run this is. 3:02, it's going to be Molly Carville, I think. It's ever so close. She's just going to hang on. She looks over her shoulder. This is tight, this is so tight. Molly Carville takes it. Second place was 2:77. That's Ella Rose Whitworth. I'll wait for the confirmation for third. But what a race that was. It was so tight. Molly Carville of Merseyside takes the title by a whisker. She was having a little look over her shoulder and they were coming and they were closing. Ella Rose Whitworth at times in that home straight was relegated to fourth, but she came through really well there with a late charge. What a brilliant race that was. I will try and confirm who got third, but it was Carville from Ella Rose Whitworth. Merseyside and Lincolnshire on the podium in dramatic fashion in the junior girls race. .268 cutting a tired figure as she comes across the line. Well done Amelia Towson for finishing. 1:25 just sinking to her knees. Scarlett Muscott of Devon. 4:10 just running through shot. That's Grace Baker of Somerset. 2:54. Well done to you Agatha Taylor of Lancashire. 2:56 your teammate Isabel Godman. Wonder if they ran together. 4:73 in the yellow. That was Eva Winton of Sussex. 1:73 just coming through shot there. Eleanor Sheffield of Gloucestershire. 1:26 just in front of the camera. Maisha Newcomb, well done to you. 2:43 safely home. Ava Chappell of Kent. 1:99 just gave a little thumbs up to the camera there. 1:99 is Uma Double of Hampshire. 5:24 cutting a tired figure, but well done to you young lady. Well done Esme White of Wiltshire for finishing. 3:64 coming across the line, and that is 3:64. Actually, I'm struggling to find you. 3:64. I'll come back to that one because the numbers suddenly jump from 3:60 to 3:73, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. 15 hands on head, Zara Fletcher of Bedfordshire. 4:87 coming home, having successfully completed the race. That was Annie Silvers of Warwickshire. 2:26 coming across the line. 2:26 is Paige Wadley of Hertfordshire. Number 42, well done to Lucinda McRonald of Buckinghamshire for finishing. And 2:11, well done to Sophie Purves of Hereford and Worcestershire. 3:54, well done Taylor Miller of Northumberland coming home. 91, that's one of the athletes. Erin Ellis from Cornwall, long journey for her. 2:81 just putting her hands on her hips. Freya West of Lincolnshire. 17 crossing the line, Keris Fountain of Bedfordshire. Some of them sinking to the ground with the relief of the finish line. I've also just seen Grace Warnock of Cleveland finishing her race along with 140. That is Amelia Drew of Dorset. Well done to all of you. So I made that Molly Carville of Merseyside, followed by Ella Rose Whitworth of Lincolnshire. I will try and mop up who was third. That was a cracking race. What a great race that was. I'll keep going with the shout outs here. Richard Newbold says thanks very much for the coverage, really enjoying it. And just a reminder, the Durham Johnson School have got Will Jardine, Ben Beale, Charlotte Dillon and Grace Carter all competing. Right, here's the replay. So, 3:02, great run by Molly Carville. Now, watch Ella Rose Whitworth in the green coming through for second, and this may enable me to clarify who was third. She has a look over her shoulder. Really, really good race this. So it's Carville taking it for Merseyside. Great celebration as well. And I think it was 157. So that I think that means it was third place for Olivia Forrest, 157. My goodness me, that was tight. And I just noticed Katie Webb of Buckinghamshire finishing inside the top 10. There she is wearing bib 37, so she'll be selected for next week. Good running from her. And I think 3:13 might have scraped into the top 10 as well. 3:13 was Jonja March of Middlesex, Julia March, who was 5th in the under-13 inter-counties. So well done to her. So I'm pretty sure it was Olivia Forrest of Essex, and that's a good story for her. She was 4th in the inter-counties, and she's upgraded to 3rd here at the English schools. Well done to the Essex athlete for getting herself on the podium. Patrick Daveron says this should be televised live on the BBC. Jack Buckner is tuning in, the chief man at UK Athletics. Now, am I right, Jack? Did I spy a Buckner on the start list? I think there's a double-barreled Buckner on the start list. I was going to send you a message and I forgot, so I shall keep a close eye out. Rhiannon says, shout out Team Shropshire, with the amazing athletes Sophia Urquhart and Iris Downs of Shrewsbury in the senior girls. And I believe, isn't Shrewsbury the home of cross country through the famous Shrewsbury School? I believe that's the case anyway. I'll find out whether Jack Buckner has representation in this race. I'm pretty sure he does, or it's somebody with the same name. In fact, I've seen a few athletes whose names sparked a memory. There is a Yelling in the race. I'm wondering whether that's any relation to Liz. Of course, we're getting to a stage now, those of us approaching or tickling either side of the line of 50, where the sons and daughters of great athletes we grew up watching or competing against may well be coming through. So we'll watch out for the famous names and the famous offspring. Well, what a race that was. And as I said, I'm pretty sure by watching that replay, it can be a bit hard to tell from the head-on angle. I'm pretty sure it was Olivia Forrest of Essex who came through for third. And look, let me beat the drum if I may. You know, we're not live on network TV, so I am allowed this indulgence. If you're watching this and you're a fan of athletics and you're a fan of distance running and cross-country and marathons, have a think about how you might be able to help. The English schools is the hotbed of talent. This is where it begins for so many of our great Olympians, Commonwealth athletes, triathletes. It all starts here with this great foundation of camaraderie, esprit de corps, the strength and the speed and the agility required from cross country translates so well onto the track and onto the roads. But the English schools can't do it all on their own, and there are a lot of people here, including me, volunteering their time because we believe that this deserves a platform, and this opportunity for young boys and girls to race in a prestigious event like this with major history and major proven winners starting their careers, this must be preserved. So if you're working for a big company, or you've got a little bit of spare time or a little bit of spare money and you're a fan of our sport, have a think about how you might get involved, and maybe we'll see you at the Track and Field Champs, the second day of which I believe is Saturday the 1st of July. There are lots of us who are going to be there giving our time. I believe we're in Birmingham this time, where last year we were at Sports City. We'd love your help, because we must ensure that this platform is preserved for generations of young men and women to come. Right, I'm sure you've got this on in the background. Perhaps you're keeping half an eye on Le Six Nations. What a climax to the Six Nations today. I'm going to stay here with the rugby, but I am going to disappear for a biscuit and a little dreg of tea from my flask. We're not doing this the glamorous way, but hey, that's why we love cross country, because it's a porter cabin in a muddy field. It's honest, hard endeavour. You're watching and you're listening to the English Schools Cross Country Championship. We're doing it on a shoestring budget, but we're having a good go, and we will be back with the intermediate boys race very soon. Thanks for your company. The intermediate boys race is just a couple of minutes away. You're watching live coverage, live streaming of the English Schools Cross Country Championship. Running down the list of greats who have won this race, it really is a list. Peter Elliott, 1979. World medalist over the 800, Olympic medalist over the 15. Spencer Duval floated around the mud in 1986 to win this, went on to take a European Junior Cross Country steeplechase silver. Neil Caddy, great Cornish athlete, a 3:39 1500 metre man. I believe he's a DJ and he's 48 today. He won this race. Happy birthday to Neil Caddy. He won this race in 1991. And a certain Mo Farah, multiple world, multiple Olympic champion, soon to retire, I believe, with his final foray at the London Marathon, which is coming up towards the end of April. Mo Farah won this race in 1999. Big field this, as you'd expect. 5.7k. They will rattle through this. Slightly longer than we saw for the junior girls. And then just to mark your card, if you're flip-flopping between us and the Six Nations, we've got the senior girls at 2:35 covering 4.5k, and the senior boys at 3:05 covering 7k. So the last few minutes tick down. Keep your messages coming. We can keep it nice and informal here. My name's Rob Walker and it's at Rob Walker TV. The Run blog is saying please give a shout out to 11 Darlington Harriers representing Durham today. Well done. That is a superb tally. That really is. Carol Austin says enjoy it there. I'm looking forward to seeing Ines Fitzgerald smash the field again. The stats on her winning margins on her last two majors is absolutely ridiculous. Ines Fitzgerald, of course, the athlete who turned down the opportunity to go to the World Cross, but she has been on fire this season, and we're expecting great things from her in the senior women's race coming up in, 35 minutes time. Fee Harvey says, great to have this live streamed, especially for parents who can't get there. Big shout out to Jack, must be her son, from Somerset, running in the senior boys. Wow, listen to this. He's managed to qualify, Jack Harvey, every single year. That is no mean achievement. So, Fee, I hope he runs well. We'll try and keep an eye out for how he goes. Right, that's the senior men or senior boys. These are the intermediates, getting poised and ready. Dylan Millard, 4:09 for Somerset, just going through shot. 3:85, Conor Morgan of Oxfordshire. 13, that's Nick Hammett of Bedfordshire. 73 looks ready for action, doesn't he? That was Jacob Brown of Cleveland. 49 on the end, Liam Conway of Cambridgeshire. Big field, big prize up for grabs. The intermediate boys English Schools Cross Country is seconds away from starting, and watch them fly over this first 200. Well, none other than Steve Ovett, who I've had the privilege of commentating with many times, the Olympic champion, multiple world record holder, 800, 1000, 1500, the mile, you name it. He said cross country was a nightmare because even though he was a world record holder, the speed with which you had to cover the first 250 to ensure you were in a good position come the first narrowed section of the course was a nightmare. So a flat out sprint here. .445 has had a good start. That's Luca Gambling of Suffolk going up that hill. I've noticed 5:30 there. 5:30, just going back. 1:59, I will come back to that. 1:59, Arthur Ballard of Essex going well. Well, he has absolutely flown over that first 400 or 500 metres there. Luca Gambling of Suffolk with the early lead. He's got some big company behind him. Now beginning to come under just a little bit of pressure. And he might pay for that, you know, because he's already got 2, 3 now going past him, with 3 just behind him. Takes a lot of planning to lay this event on. You can see how many of the counties have come here by coach, as well as many who've travelled individually with their families. And those of us who go back in the day can remember being billeted, getting off a bus and then ending up in someone's house. I can remember that happening to me in St Helens. It was most bizarre. I was so nervous I could hardly eat the dinner they provided, which was fish and chips. And I woke up so thirsty. I met my mum at the course and said, I need some water. My mum thought I'd been in a desert for 3 days, but I guess the billeting is something from the old days, and memorable. That's saying something. Right then. How's that Middlesex up the front, maroon and gold? Would you describe that band as gold? Quite possibly. Well, this is going to be a fascinating race, isn't it? After that early burn from Luca Gambling, just to get himself in a good position. He's towards the back of a group of about maybe 15 or 16 now. We've got a big pack running together. Over 3 miles this one. So some element of tactics are important to keep some energy for the back end of the race. Trying to work out who that leader is with the white vest and the green stripes. We'll get a glimpse of the numbers shortly, so I shall do my best. But that's a mighty, mighty big group here. Tactics will come into play here. For those feeling confident, I wonder how late they'll be prepared to leave it. We saw them jostling for position in the final stages of the junior girls race, when Whitworth of Lincolnshire came through for a podium position and Olivia Forrest came through for the bronze. Although that wasn't official, we just judged that from the replay and we were looking head on, but I'm pretty sure it was Olivia Forrest of Essex. But this is interesting here. Maybe just the beginning of a hint of a little break here. So we'll get a handle on the numbers very shortly. Remember, you're watching the intermediate boys. This is 5.7k in a bid for glory, in a bid to add their names to the likes of Peter Elliott, an Olympic medalist, a World Championship medalist. Won this title back in 1979. Still a pretty big group here, but that's a nice bold piece of running off the front. I wonder if that's Sam Plummer. He was second in the inter-counties for Essex. I think that might be him, you know. It might be. I'm looking at the light blue. I wonder whether that's Noah Patterson just behind him. Plummer was second in the inter-counties. Patterson was 18th. I think that might be the 1-2. If it is, we're looking for the numbers 157 and then 241 for Patterson. I'll try and get a closer look as they edge towards our cameras. So it is Sam Plummer leading, alongside his teammate Joseph Grange, 158, and it is Noah Patterson up there for Kent, wearing 241. So those are the leading three. 227 going well, that's Gianlo Stubbs of Hertfordshire. Just looking for one or two of the other numbers. That's definitely the 1, 2, 3. 529 I don't have. Now I wonder if that's a Channel Islander. If it is, he's been missed off our list, and that's the only reason I can think. So the tall athlete in 4th, I wonder if he's representing the Channel Islands. I'll get someone to check on that. But as far as the 1, 2, 3 is concerned at the moment, we've got Sam Plummer and Joseph Grange going well for Essex, and we've got Noah Patterson of Kent. Well, that's a shame. One of the athletes has had to stop there. Maybe he's got a stitch in the red vest just on the right of picture. That's a real shame. Hopefully he can get going again, but he's having a disappointing day. Hopefully the coaches will give him a hug and say, hey, listen, there's always next time. It doesn't always go right first time out when you're in the English schools. Remember, Keely Hodgkinson was outside the top 85 when she competed in the English schools back in 2016, and look at her now, just over the age of 21, and she's a world medalist, a Commonwealth medalist, a European indoor champion, an Olympic medalist. And there's one or two who are finding this pace too savage. There's a couple of them here who've had to stop, the 3, 4. Come on lads, keep going. You will get there. .157, Sam Plummer coming off the front. Watch out as well, is that, I can't see, the guy in blue is standing in the way. 459 and 517. 459 is Jacob Pearce of Surrey. 459. 242 just going through shot, that's Adam Whitlock, the second of the Kent runners. 134, I've just spotted Reuben Cowley of Dorset. Remember, these are really, really high quality runners. They're, without question, they would have been the best in their primary school, probably the best in their secondary school. 13 coming through, that's Nick Hammett, the number 1 string athlete from Bedfordshire. I just saw 388 flash past, that was Samuel Davis of Oxfordshire. Number 40 just going through shot. If you're watching out for Sam Colley, he's going well, but what a run this is by Sam Plummer. Second in the inter-counties, hoping to upgrade to gold here, wearing the gold and maroon of Essex. This is a fine run so far, it really is. Really trying to pull away. He's stretched out his lead wonderfully well here. He's really gone for a big injection of pace here towards the back end of the race. This has been a decisive move, and so far nobody's gone with him. So these are big, big gaps back to 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Waiting to see, possibly waiting to see how big his winning margin will be. This has been absolutely brilliant by Plummer. It's a huge lead We'll try and confirm who's in second and third when we get a head-on angle. Remember, we've only got 6 or 7 cameras around the place, and we haven't got a massive OB truck here. It's all being done on bandwidth and Wi-Fi. So we'll do our best to identify the 3 athletes in your shot at the moment, who currently occupy second, third and fourth. But it's Sam Plummer of Essex who's leading, and by a long, long way. This could well be a battle we're watching here for second and third. Great running by the leader. He's taken the initiative and grabbed this race by the scruff of the neck in Wollaton Park. Remember, the top 10 will be coming back for the SIAD event next weekend, the Home Nations Schools International Athletics Board at Sefton Park. So we are waiting here for a confirmation as to second, third and fourth, because we know it's Sam Plummer of Essex who's leading, second in the inter-counties. And that was an absolutely brilliant performance. So it looks like it's Alex Lennon, 4.57 is it? And then 4.59 Jacob Pearce. 4.57 Alex Lennon, 8th in the under-15 inter-counties. 4.59 is Jacob Pearce, and 5.17 is Harry Maxwell of Wiltshire, who was 10th in the inter-counties. So these 4 are away and clear from the rest. Now, can they make any impact on Sam Plummer's lead? The Surrey boys in yellow, Alex Lennon and Jacob Pearce, and in the green it's Wiltshire's Harry Maxwell. Has Plummer gone too hard too early, or is he going to continue to streak away? That hill is clearly harder than it may appear, because we've seen a couple of casualties going up here, a couple of boys who've had to stop because the lactic acid has just taken hold. So waiting to see whether Sam Plummer can hang on here. Lennon and Pearce are doing a wonderful job for Surrey, and Wiltshire's Harry Maxwell hoping to upgrade to a podium finish, having finished 10th at the inter-counties. Senior girls and senior boys still to come. Senior girls is at 2:35, senior boys is at 3:05. Keep us company, you'll still have plenty of time to enjoy Le Six Nations towards the end of the afternoon. This is Plummer. He's looking tired here, but it's a very, very bold piece of running that's given him a sizable, a huge lead. Little glance over the shoulder. 4.57 is Alex Lennon, 8th in the under-15s. 4.59 is Jacob Pearce, and just obscured is Harry Maxwell, 5.17. Then there's a gap back to, was that 4.93? That will be Ash Burgess of the West Midlands. 2.53 was running well there. Matthew Clark of Lancashire trying to vie for a top 10 performance. But the headline here is that Sam Plummer has absolutely blown this field to pieces. He must be starting to feel this now. Barring a fall, touch wood, barring a fall, he's going to turn inter-county silver into English schools gold and join the likes of Peter Elliott, Spencer Duval, Neil Caddy and Mo Farah as an intermediate boys English schools cross-country champion. Charging towards the line, he can afford a glance over his shoulder He'll remember this moment for a long, long time, no matter what else he goes on to achieve. Now what's happening with Lennox and Pearce and Wiltshire? Wiltshire's been dropped in the battle for the silver and the bronze. He's still running well, and Maxwell for Wiltshire, by the way. But this is Plummer. It should be Lennon and Pearce with silver and bronze for Surrey. But that is a wonderful win for Sam Plummer. He's the English Schools cross-country champion, following on from his inter-county silver. That is superb. Now, in which order are they going to finish? Lennon is 4.57 for Surrey. Pearce is 4.59. Come on, says Alex Lennon, and it's a great performance from Jacob Pearce. 4.93 came through really well there. Ash Burgess for 4th. Good running there from 109. That's Ewan, Rusfield and Derbyshire inside the top 10. 1.59 Arthur Ballard. 2.42 coming across the line. Good run there from Adam Whitlock. 51. Jacob Strangmark, Cambridgeshire. 4.70 coming across the line. Lucas Gorrell, 24th in the under-15s inter-county, so he's having to step up. 2.97 from London. Thomas Chadwick, 1.96 coming across the line. That's Ruben Price, who was 21st in the under-15s, now stepping up to the under-17s. 2.46, cutting a tired figure, but his work is done. That was Oliver Head. 2.54, well done to Daniel Smith of Lancashire. 1.62. What a good team performance we've seen from Essex. I wonder if he realises that Sam Plummer, his teammate, has taken the title. A couple of the athletes slumping to the ground here. This has been brutal. 2.27 having to be helped across the line. Janello Stubbs of Hertfordshire started very, very quickly. 2.55 looks as though he's had a good day. Stanley Collinson, well done to you, also of Lancashire. 4.72. That was Finn Sutcliffe of Sussex. 1.11. Good work, Leo Powell of Derbyshire. Number 14. Josh Hempson Wallace of Bedfordshire finishes very close to his teammate Nathan Davis. 66. Good work, Tom Conwood of Cheshire. 1.26 coming across the line. Oliver Goldsworthy from Devon. That's a long journey for him. 28 has just finished. James Titmus of Berkshire. 1.74. Anthony Cruz of Gloucestershire. Number 1. Ben Collins, the number 1 ranked athlete from Avon. 3.05 has just finished his race. William Voss of Merseyside, just pausing for breath in front of the camera. 29 was Dylan Bavazzano of Berkshire. One or two of them actually leaning on the camera. Oliver Aldred of Avon has just finished his race. So too is number 32, that's Tom Bradford of Berkshire. Murray Pearson and Thomas Darton of Avon coming home. 78. Kian Bayat of Cleveland. Little fist bump for the two Cumbrian teammates. 100 and 106. So that was Max Hazelhurst having a fist bump with Rowan Ashworth. Good work for the Cumbrian boys. Good team packing for the boys in yellow from Humberside. That was Adam Fielding coming across the line with Oliver Hannon not too far behind him. Good work for the Humberside team. 55 coming across the line. That's Tom Waterworth of Cambridgeshire. Brilliant race that. Really, really enjoyed it. Sam Plummer was fantastic value for that intermediate boys title. He took the initiative and turned inter-county silver into English schools cross-country gold. So a confirmation of the 1-2-3 there as I heard it across the line. Sam Plummer for Essex. Alex Lennon coming home really well to upgrade his 8th in the junior boys inter-counties. Remember the age groups overlap slightly differently between inter-counties and English schools. And his Surrey teammate Jacob Pearce was 3rd. Excellent run in 4th for Ash Burgess of the West Midlands as well. Great race. A little break now and we return a couple of minutes before the senior girls at 25-3. This is live streamed coverage of the English Schools Cross Country Championship, where many great careers have started.
Right, I say carry on camp 5 now, Steve.
Can I get a shout out? Can I get a shout out? Yes, I can hear. Ready, guys? Everyone follow Little Man TV on TikTok.
It stops, so you're no, it's going that way.
Each county's got 8 runners.
So we're closing in on the start of our penultimate race. The senior girls, senior women, they will be competing over 4.5k. And one of the big questions here is how fast, no disrespect to any of the women in this field, how fast will Ines Fitzgerald go? She won the inter-counties, by the way, by 1 minute and 6 seconds. Absolutely incredible. She won the English Nationals by 53 seconds. Coached by Joe Pavy's husband, Gavin. She's still only 16. English schools and English champion over the 3,000, 4th in the European Junior Cross Country. Travelled to Italy for that one by train, and as a result of the huge flight required for Bathurst for the World Cross, she turned down her opportunity to go to Australia for the World Cross Country Championship. She is a very, very special athlete indeed, stepping up here to the seniors because of that funny crossover between the inter-counties and the schools. Just had a message through regarding Ines Fitzgerald from Joe Pavey, who I've had the privilege of commentating with a few times on the London Marathon. She said, Ines has been going really well. Gav and I are really pleased with the way she's been progressing off a low volume of training. She is a great and determined athlete. And here's another message from Joe, a wonderful, wonderful ambassador for our sport, a great champion back in the day, and let's not forget a World Championship bronze medalist on the track over 10,000 metres. Massive well done to all the athletes running today. Hope they enjoy the experience. I personally have really fond memories of competing, and it definitely helped me later in my career, even though I was useless at cross country. They should be so proud of themselves to have been selected to run in this brilliant championship. And that comes from someone who spent decades plying her trade in cross country, not to her high standards, on the track and on the roads as well. Joe Pavey. So she'll be keeping a very, thanks for that, Joe, she'll be keeping a very close eye on what happens with Ines Fitzgerald in this race. I had to read it twice when I was checking the statistics. 1 minute and 6 seconds is a ludicrously big margin. That, remember, was the inter-counties under 17, because she is about to turn 17, which is why she's in the senior girls here in the English school. Ines Fitzgerald, no disrespect to the rest of the field, will be the favourite for this one. She will wear bib 121 in the scarlet with the white panel of Devon, and they are just about to go. Quick message from Jason Henderson, who's been connected to Athletics Weekly for almost as long as Joe Pavey's been running at the top of her game, making mention of St Helens in 1988, because I'd mentioned that I'd never forgotten seeing Spencer Duval, and no sooner said than Jason has managed to find a copy of Athletics Weekly with the St Helens results from 1988. Yes, Jason, that is the St Helens I was referring to. So, we're looking for 121, and there she is, Ines Fitzgerald, out front and centre already. Just a reminder, inter-counties champion by 1 minute 6, English Nationals champion by 53 seconds, coached by Joe Pavey and her husband Gavin. UK under-17 record holder over the 3,000 metres. She is such a special athlete, she really is. Making this step up to the seniors, and that is insane. Look at how big her lead is already. Lives on a small holding outside Exeter, and her family try to be as carbon neutral as they possibly can be. You know, her stride reminds me a little bit of Letessenbeck Guido. So long and so powerful, and look how much distance she's taken out of the rest of the field. This is the English schools. The senior race won by Paula Radcliffe in 1992, Hattie Dean in 99, who went on to finish 15th in an attritional World Cross in 2007, and a European silver medalist over the steeplechase. Emily Pidgeons won this race in 2006, but I'm not sure any of those three, Radcliffe, Dean or Pidgeon, had a leading margin this big after less than a kilometre. We'll try and get the bib numbers of those in second, third and fourth, but look at the gap as the cameras focus on what should be or could be the leading trio. That is the chasers. They are the best of the rest because Fitzgerald has stormed away from everyone. You can't even see her in the shot. That is incredible. Incredible. There she is. Now you can just about see her on the right of picture in red. So there's a little group of 3 who are chasing. I'm not sure whether you'd count that as sort of the pale blue of Kent. But there's Fitzgerald, looking like she's out for a training run. Massive, massive lead. She's just been unbeatable so far this winter and this spring. And here we have the evidence of exactly why. What an exciting talent she really is. So we're keeping an eye out to see whether we can get the bib numbers of those in second, third and fourth. Rebecca Flaherty in the mix. She's wearing 5:05. 4:10 is Sophie Nichols of Somerset. And the other athlete in that group, hard to see from this angle, is that 361? Yeah, going very well indeed. Just at the back of that group, trying to somehow close the gap on Innes Fitzgerald, who is streaking up that hill. Just incredible. Well, you can hardly believe what you're seeing here. This is absolutely amazing. Rebecca Flaherty giving chase with Sophie Nichols of Somerset. Flaherty was third in that inter-counties behind Innes Fitzgerald, but a long, long way behind. Sophie Nichols going well for Somerset. But this is about the clock now, surely. 4.5k, and she is absolutely eating up the ground. What an exciting career lies in store for Innes Fitzgerald. Feet on the ground, being managed brilliantly by the likes of Joe and Gavin. So, whilst the rest of them contend with this big hill, there's 5:05. That's Rebecca Flaherty. 4:10 is Sophie Nichols of Somerset. Then to 3:61. Just struggling to find her name actually. 3:61. The numbers jump from 360 to 373 on my board, so we'll try and pick that up. Just flicking through my notes, but no denying that Innes Fitzgerald is leading by that huge margin. Now, on our list, I can't give you the identification of 361 because it's not in the programme and it's not on the start sheet that I've got. So I will shout to someone to try and clarify who is wearing 361. But in the meantime, we've got Rebecca Flaherty 505 giving chase, along with Sophie Nichols. So 505 and 410, Flaherty of West Yorkshire and 410 Sophie Nichols of Somerset are chasing Ines Fitzgerald, but they are miles behind. This is Fitzgerald, miles clear, closing in on yet another great title. She's had a little look over her shoulder, but she needs good eyesight to be able to see as far back as those in second, third and fourth. This is absolutely incredible by Fitzgerald, it really is. Well, let's see if she can beat her winning margin, shall we? 106 in the inter-counties, 53 seconds in the English nationals. I'll put a clock, this is how confident I am that nothing's going to go wrong. I'll put a clock on her coming across the finish line and we will try and judge the extent of her winning margin. This is absolutely unprecedented. These English schools titles, maybe occasionally there's a 20-second winning margin, maybe. But this could be in excess of a minute. This is incredible running by Fitzgerald. She's still only 16. She doesn't turn 17 in this senior girls race. She doesn't turn 17 until next month. That's Rebecca Flaherty in second. She was third behind Fitzgerald, and she's running really well, by the way, in her own right. But how big is this lead? Wind's beginning to pick up. It's a side wind there. You can tell by the tape that's blustering across the course. Big hill that she's coming round to contend with again. Breathing hard, leaning back. Maybe the slightest hint of tension in the shoulders, but she is miles clear of Rebecca Flaherty of West Yorkshire, who's running brilliantly in second place. There she comes. It could be close to a minute, you know, by the time they get to the finish line, unless Flaherty can begin reeling her in. And Fitzgerald doesn't seem as though she's showing too many signs of discomfort. .410, 361. I will find out who 361 is because she's not listed. The numbers disappear on our listings here. 319 trying to get into the mix. That's Lauren Russell, who was fourth in that inter-counties. So good running from the Middlesex athlete, trying to close down on the top three. A massive, massive lead, massive lead. It's Eve Whittaker. I beg your pardon, Eve. I've been desperately racking my brains. Eve Whittaker is wearing 361 because it's North Yorkshire. They're not listed in chronological order. That's why the numbers appear to have disappeared, because she slots in after the athlete wearing bib 333 and ahead of the athlete wearing 337. It's Eve Whittaker, who of course was third in the inter-counties. So Whittaker right in the mix here, along with Flaherty and Sophie Nichols. But everyone is going to finish a long way behind Devon's Innes Fitzgerald, who has produced a virtuoso performance here. Phenomenal running. I'm glad we cleared that up because I was confused. So it's North Yorkshire Eves Whittaker who is battling with Sophie Nichols for third, with Rebecca Flaherty of West Yorkshire ahead on her own in second. One athlete just having to stop going up that hill. There is Rebecca Flaherty, she's in second. I love the face paint of West Yorkshire, and what a beautiful part of the world and part of the country that is. One of my favourite places to go on holiday, West Yorkshire. Now comes North Yorkshire's Eve Whittaker, behind 319, that's Lauren Russell. Russell going well. 475 trying to get into the mix. That's Yasmin Kashdan of Sussex in the yellow. So I am going to start my stopwatch. I don't know whether that clock will carry on or whether it will stop when Fitzgerald finishes. Let's see how big her winning margin is. Remember, it was 106 at the inter-counties, it was 53 seconds at the nationals. What about here at the English schools? This is a senior title at the age of 16. Never threatened, never headed. And as her coaches, Joe Pavey and Gavin, have indicated, she's doing this off a low load of training. So imagine what's to come this forthcoming summer. Innes Fitzgerald is adding her name to an illustrious list of women who have taken this senior girls cross-country title. Most notably Paula Radcliffe in 1992, and I'm sure Paula herself is hugely impressed by this young woman from Devon who is ripping up the rule book of what many thought was possible. This has got to be one of the biggest winning margins in English schools cross-country history. Innes Fitzgerald takes the title almost by a metaphorical country mile. It's a huge lead, and let's take nothing away from Rebecca Flaherty's performance. She was third in the inter-counties under 17 behind Fitzgerald, and she's going to upgrade inter-counties bronze to an English school silver, and she's finishing really strongly here. This is a good run, a great run. It's taken a lot out of Fitzgerald. The West Yorkshire athlete. Deserves it. It's a winning margin of about 52 seconds for Fitzgerald, which is unheard of in English schools cross country. And I think that's Lauren Russell of Middlesex coming through for third. Eve Whittaker is fourth, and 5:10. What a good run that was by Amelia Lane of West Yorkshire. Lauren Russell, in taking the bronze, has upgraded her fourth place finish at the inter-counties. So she's on the podium here at the English schools. That's a fabulous trio of medalists there, with a wonderful fourth place finish by Eve Whittaker. And Amelia Lane of West Yorkshire wasn't too far behind her teammate Rebecca Flaherty. I think she took fifth. But what a run by Innes Fitzgerald. 1:06 winning margin at the inter-counties, 53 seconds at the English nationals, and I make that 52 seconds here at the English schools. That is incredible. We wait in anticipation of what she may produce this forthcoming summer. .242 coming home. That is Hannah Clark, who was 28th in the inter-county. She's probably there or thereabouts. Athlete in bib 50 has just finished. That's Lucy Jones. She was 13th in the under-17 inter-counties, but remember this is her first year as a senior. 5'11", the familiar face paint. That's Emily Gibbons of West Yorkshire. And West Yorkshire must have a chance of the team title because Carla Behrens has just finished as well. 3:01. Kira Brady-Jones has got across the line for Merseyside. 3:51 in the gold and red trim of Northumberland. Imogen Bunjay, 73. Good run there by Lois Creasy of Cleveland. All the twos. That is India Frost, who was 18th in the under-17 inter-counties. Again, first time age grouper in the seniors. 5:14, Beth Rogers coming home for West Yorkshire. They really have had a fabulous day. 52 is Amy Reid of Cambridgeshire. 31, Evie Chappell of Berkshire. 2:48 coming across the line. Important to give these young women a mention. Jessica Poland. 4:24 in the green. That is Ruby Styler from South Yorkshire. Number 3 coming home, Amy Nichols of Avon. 3:87, is that an Oxfordshire bib? It is. Anna Jolifi. 2:69 in the yellow. That was Gracie Rose Walters of Leicestershire and Rutland. 3:74, just being given a little bit of assistance, but her race has finished. Amelia Crispin representing Nottinghamshire, so she's on home soil. 1:71. Naranyi Costa Giafreti coming home, 66. That's Jodie Vermand of Cheshire. Wow, what a race. And what a gauntlet Innes Fitzgerald has laid down ahead of the summer. Lillian North has just finished for Hampshire. 32, that's Amelia Murphy of Berkshire. 3:13. Emma McCluskey of Middlesex. 2:90, the athlete representing London, just coming home. Sophie Foot. 44. Tired figure of Amy Hogbin. Well done to you for finishing. Good work. Molly Thomas of Avon coming home. 3:98. That was Maggie Priest of Shropshire. 2:52 coming across the line. 2:52 is Amelia Beeston of Kent. And 4:47. Imogen Sutton of Suffolk. 54 coming across the line. Lily Wittich of Cambridgeshire. What a race. And what a talent the sport has found in the form of the 16-year-old Innes Fitzgerald, whose 3 title-winning cross-country runs this winter have been breathtaking, and this was no different. Leslie Adams has just sent a message saying she's enjoying watching the local runner Innes Fitzgerald streaking ahead at the English cross. She most certainly did. There are a whole host of superlatives you could use to describe the quality of her performance. Absolutely amazing. Right then, there is only one race left to come. It is the senior men's. We will be back shortly. They are underway at 3:05.
Ariel made you. That last go. Oh no. Tried to put one of the fence. They got this fight.
Start seeing it down there. I see him. I can see him at that.
Right then, everybody, thank you for keeping us company. If you've been watching on the British Athletics YouTube channel, there is one final instalment of drama to come. It's the senior boys. 349 is pumped and ready to go. That was Joe Dixon of Northumberland with the headband. 25, Luke Birdseye, he's one of the favourites, just shaking his head. He won the inter-counties by 3 seconds from George Cootie, who wears 361 for North Yorkshire. I think if you bring their 1500 PBs into the equation, I think Birdseye's down at around about 354, whereas George is at 410, but he's clearly a great cross-country runner who's got excellent strength. In fact, this could be a serious ding-dong, you know. I don't think we're going to see a 52-second winning margin as we saw for the unmatchable Innes Fitzgerald in the senior girls race. In theory then, watch out for George Cootie, who wears 361 for North Yorkshire, and Luke Birdseye. There was only 3 seconds to separate them in the inter-counties. Will the same be said here in Nottingham? Last race of the day. The biggie, 7K senior boys, about to start. Well, the ground has held up quite well in this race, considering we've had very little rain, in contrast to the downpour that greeted us upon arrival at this great park. Some wonderful races, some deserved names adding theirs to a list of illustrious champions to have come and conquered all at the English schools. What a shot that is. As one of the biggest fields of the day tackles the longest race of the day. So Luke Birdseye won the inter-counties. He's in the royal blue with white diagonal stripes for Berkshire, wearing bib 25. George Cootie of North Yorkshire. Watch out as well for Ethan Primmitt, who was third in the inter-counties for Hertfordshire. He's a 357 1500 metre runner. 362 and 361. So it is Gianluca Mastro Ronaldo and his teammate George Cootie leading for North Yorkshire. Also going well is Daniel van Ardit. He was 22nd in the intermediate inter-counties. He's wearing the yellow and going very well up alongside the two teammates from North Yorkshire, Cootie and Mastro Ronaldo. Mastro, I'll put the teeth back in again. It's actually Gianluca Mastro Leonardo. That is a great name, Mastro Leonardo. He and George Cootie up at the front of this massive field. Watching for Luke Birdseye wearing 25 for Berkshire and Ethan Primmitt, who wears 225 for Hertfordshire. They were the 1, 2, 3 at a super competitive inter-counties. Long way to go in this one. Fabulous list of winners. Some of you may remember the name of Julian Goter, Commonwealth bronze medalist in 1982. He won this race in 1971 and was a World Championship finalist in the inaugural edition of the Worlds in Helsinki in '83. Tony Milosorov, a brilliant marathon runner who's talent never really got the respect it deserved. He won this race in '77. John Mayoff came and conquered all for Yorkshire in 1990, European indoor champion over 3,000 metres. 8 years later in 1998, and as I mentioned a little while earlier today, the double Olympic champion in triathlon, Alistair Brownlee, won this title in 2006, just 18 months before he made his Olympic debut in Beijing. Everybody, of course, talks about London and Rio, the first triathlete, male or female, to successfully defend the title. But 4 years ahead of London, he had a marvellous debut in Beijing. And one of the reasons he was so good in China was the fabulous strength and speed he had built up in his legs through fell running and cross-country running. So who knows where we might see today's eventual winner in 5 or 10 years' time, or in the case of the Brownlee example, in 18 months' time. This is a group of supremely talented, confident young men, and the world is their oyster. 397 now in the lead. That is Shropshire's William Singleton. I may have heard a 350 called in my direction. That is Josh Blevins, who was 10th in the Intercounties for Northumberland. Top quality on display towards the front end of this field. Nobody prepared to make a big move just yet. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Few people said this deserves to be on network TV. Well, maybe we could get it on the red button. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Carol Austin is appreciating Innes's fine run. Yeah, it would be great to get this on the red button. The guys here who've worked on the stream have done a fantastic job using all sorts of technology off bandwidth and Wi-Fi to bring us these images, which is important because there'll be mums and dads and uncles, aunts, godparents tuning in. We had one godfather tuning in from Switzerland, able to do so live because of the wonders of modern technology. A couple of these boys just finding this incredibly hard going. That looks like a lad who's injured his left calf or Achilles, but he's determined to get round. He's hobbling. That's a really brave display. Two of them actually. One has just stopped on the left. Well, he hasn't quite stopped, but he's clearly struggling, but doesn't want to let his county down. But maybe with such a long way to go, he needs to avoid doing himself further damage. So 397, William Singleton of Shropshire. 146 looking very good. That's Brandon Pye. Now Brandon Pye has only run once in 2023, but he won the intermediate boys title here last year. So interesting that he's been raced sparingly, and he's right up at the front of this field. That was 146, the Durham athlete Brandon Pye. 159 just went through shot. Finn Rattray of Essex. 198. William Campbell of Hampshire. Long way to go here. And these are all fine runners who'll have an excellent array of PBs at 800, 1500, steeplechase, 5,000. Many of these are the young men who in a few years' time we'll see running 30s and 31s and 32s for 10Ks up and down the country. Singleton leading then. Good running this. Singleton leading for Shropshire. No move yet from Luke Birdseye, the Berkshire Inter-Counties champion. I think he might just be at the back of that group actually. Good race this. We've got a big pack of what, maybe 15 or so who are still within striking distance of this early pace being set by Singleton of Shropshire. Long journey home for these athletes. So Singleton has been, well, he was overhauled for that lead, but he's determined to tuck on that inside line. We'll give you the names of those alongside the Shropshire athlete when we can get a chance of a front-on shot. A reminder, we haven't got as many cameras as you'd normally like, so we will get there. Good running there by our new leader. And there's a bit of a splinter beginning to go on now, just the merest hint of a gap. Got a group of around about 10, and that might be one of the Oxfordshire athletes just hanging on to the back of that group of 10. Although they've bunched a little bit again there, just round that tight turn. They're at the far end of this fabulous park now. Big enough to accommodate a golf course as well as plenty of places to walk and exercise. Perfect location for a major cross-country championship. Mark Ruby's up there for Dorset in green. Singleton is still right up there, but interesting to see Ruby in the mix, 12th in the inter-counties. .193 is James Dargan of Hampshire. 136 is Mark Ruby with the long hair. 397 is Singleton just on the left, the long-term leader. 13, we haven't seen him up the front yet, Noah Campion of Bedfordshire. Big group here, but there's still a very, very long way to go. That's the back of Mark Ruby, the Dorset athlete, who ran really well at the inter-counties, just outside the top 10. Just a reminder, if you're joining us, the top 10 here will be going to the SIAD event next weekend. Stands for Schools International Athletics Board, the home nations. Top 8 will compete individually, and then the next 2, 9 and 10, will go in the team event. So big prize on offer for those who finish inside the top 10. Of the pack attack this hill. Right then, let's see where we are as they snake their way back up the course. Still looked like it was Singleton of Shropshire who was setting the pace, but I was keeping half an eye on Brandon Pye, who won the intermediate title last year, but is sparingly raced so far in 23. The Houghton Harriers athlete from Durham. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this coverage. 361. Now there is George Cootie, second in the inter-counties. 193, remember, is James Dargan, but Cootie getting himself at the front, perhaps at just the right time. I spotted Johnny James there of Oxfordshire, along with Quinn Neil Ingram, who was 15th in the inter-counties under 17. 301 just going through shot. Ethan Brady Jones of Merseyside. 253 coming through. That's David Holman of Lancashire. 53, Matthew Morgan of Cambridgeshire. 475 in the yellow. That was Henry Yelling of Sussex. Got to be related to Liz, surely. 153 going through shot. Joshua McKenny, powerful looking young man from Durham. 159, Finn Rattra. He was up with the early leaders a little while ago. 507 has just gone through shot. That was Edward Hobbs of West Yorkshire. A couple of the girls waving to their teammates. You can see how mild it is. Some of the athletes have already competed, have not even put their tracksuits back on. Now, bit of a breakaway here. Now the field has begun to split. This is a decisive move. Look at how long that stride is on the athlete in green in second place. Good running here. These two are a long way clear, and we've got a group of 5 there. The leading 2, 3 chasers, and then another little quartet trying to close them down. So I think this is Mark Ruby just having a little look over his shoulder in second place. Wow, look at this. That is a really aggressive piece of running. Having gone with the leader, he's now taken it on. Mark Ruby, who was 12th in the inter-counties, feels that this is his time to strike, and they've absolutely split this field apart, and they've done it quickly, but there's still quite a lot of running to go here. These 5 are away, but even between them there are some quite big gaps, as Ruby had a little glance over his shoulder, but he's being tracked very, very closely here. The Dorset man in the green. Well, the rain has now started to pour down. It's still not very cold here, and the wind has dropped, so it's not too bad. Right, so this is Mark Ruby leading. He's wearing 135. It's George Cootie in second place. And then in distance, is that Luke Birdseye? Yes, it is. And the big battle is beginning to unfold. The Inter-Counties champion is closing the gap. 397 is in 5th, and that looks like it's 193, is it? James Dargan of Hampshire in 4th. So Luke Birdseye is closing the gap on George Cootie, and the duel we were hoping for might well be about to spring into life. Cootie wears 361, Birdseye wears 25, and they're both behind Mark Ruby of Dorset just at the moment. What a climax in prospect here. So, is it to be Dorset, North Yorkshire or Berkshire for this English Schools Senior Boys title, to join the likes of Alistair Brownlee, John Mayock, Julian Gota? What a finish in prospect here. 1 and 2 in the inter-counties, and there was only 3 seconds between them. Cootie, I think, has taken it on. Ruby's in second, and Birdseye has closed the gap in third. You can tell it's him because Berkshire have a royal blue with a white diagonal stripe. And I think James Dargan is still in the hunt for 4th place. He's got the red vest with the diagonal stripe of Hampshire. Can William Singleton of Shropshire manage to hang on? He was setting the early pace. 2:35 has been lapped. So that's Henry Lux of Humberside. All credit to him for finishing the race. Cootie leads with 3:61. 136 is Ruby, and then 25 is Luke Birdseye. This is James Dargan in 4th. Now who's coming through into the mix in 5th? 398, that's Daniel Galloway of Shropshire. He's now ahead of his compatriot, or his county patriot, William Singleton. Good team performance by Shropshire at the moment. But who is going to make their move up this big hill? Oh, it's the men who were 1st and 2nd in the inter-counties. But I wonder whether George Coonty can reverse that 1-2 this time. The North Yorkshire athlete stretches his legs down this final descent. Then he'll turn to his right. It's become a little bit of a quagmire this last 200 metres into the finish. But I think this is an unassailable lead. Ruby's in 3rd in the green for Dorset. Luke Birdseye, the inter-counties champion, is in 2nd, but the man who finished runner-up to him is going to take the gold here and become our 6th worthy champion of the day. This is a brilliant run by Coonty. Silver at the inter-counties, it's all gold at the English schools, and he's absolutely over the moon. The inter-counties champion has to settle for 2nd this time, and it's 3rd with a brilliant run by Mark Ruby of Dorset, who was 12th in the inter-counties. That's the 1-2-3. And what a battle for 4th here. Oh, 2:44 coming into the mix. Jamie Kerr just ahead of James Dargan, or just behind James Dargan, I beg your pardon. 398, that was a great run from Daniel Galloway. Coming through late, 1-3-3. That is William Rabjohns of Dorset, so good team performance by them. They'll have 2 in the top 10, so 2 representatives at SIAD next weekend if they both recover well from this. What a great race that was. It looked like it might come down to a bit of a duel between the men who shared gold and silver at the inter-counties. They did again, but this time the other way round. And a wonderful bronze for Ruby from Dorset. A fitting end to a wonderful day of cross-country distance running. 387 came across the line there. Quinn Neil Ingram of Oxfordshire. A couple of athletes just crashing across the finish line, absolutely exhausted. Well done, 2:45. Jamie McDonald of Kent, 4:59, has given it absolutely everything. That's Christo Chilton. 4:73. Alexander Riley of Sussex, 3:99. What a run by Christian Tongue. Good team performance from Shropshire. 2:06 is safely across the line. Matthew Brunnock of Hereford and Worcestershire. 62 has finished. That's Jake Wilson of Cheshire. 1:95 just coming through shot. James Winship of Hampshire. 29, his race is finished. Christopher Parker of Berkshire. 1:53 just on the left. Joshua McKenny of Durham. 2:90 for London. Joseph English. 1:72 coming across the line. That's Freddie Cooper of Gloucestershire. 3:88, another of the Oxfordshire boys. Harry Richards has finished his race. 4:23, Oscar Burgess of South Yorkshire. 3:26, what a big lad Harry Smith is. Well done to you for finishing for Norfolk. 4:36 is across the line. That's Cameron O'Neill of Staffordshire. 5:07 has just finished. One of the West Yorkshire boys, Edward Hobbs. 4:86 coming past the camera. It's important to mention these lads. Ruben Snelson, because we don't know how many more times we will see them in a national championship. 5:10, good team performance there. Rory Bryant of West Yorkshire. 5:23 with his hands on his head. Henry Contio of Wiltshire, great name. 1:99 has just finished. That is Joseph O'Brien from Hampshire, as 5:09 puts a hand on the back. Ben Hill. Two of the London boys coming across together. One of the Cumbrian athletes having to be helped home. That's James Bowen of Cumbria, but he finished the race. Well done to you. Ethan Nation of Greater Manchester finishes his race, as does 138? Yep. 138 Seb Crow. Not Seb Coe, Seb Crow You could get that wrong if you made it as an international. And what a great performance his teammate Mark Ruby had. Oh, they keep on coming. They keep on pouring home. They have successfully finished the English Schools Senior Boys Cross Country, and they will remember this day for many, many years to come. A brilliant race to finish. I was hoping it was going to turn into a duel between Cootie and Birdseye, just as it did at the Inter-Counties. Only 3 seconds was Birdseye's winning margin over Cootie at the Inter-Counties. This time it was the other way round, and it was probably around the same winning margin. Classic racing between the two of them, and it will be fascinating to see what happens on the track this summer, because although Birdseye's got the 3:54 PB, surely on the evidence of what we saw at the Inter-Counties and here today, Cootie's 4:10 PB over the 15 is surely destined to plummet down to the sub-4 territory. We'll take a pause just for a moment here before we wrap up all the runners and riders and winners, and we all begin to head home. Send me 1 or 2 of your last messages and I'll read them out before we wrap up. But the last of our 6 races has been completed in fine style. The English Schools Cross Country Arena has been graced by greatness today. Well, what a great day it's been. I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a minor miracle of modern science and determination. 24/7 have done a fantastic job to get this together. We've all been operating on a minimal budget. Many of us are volunteers. We're here because we care about the English schools and we care about these athletes who deserve this platform on which to shine. Congratulations to Zoe Gilbody of Shropshire, who took the intermediate girls title. Joseph Scaines of Kent took the junior boy title. Molly Carville of Merseyside, a fantastic sprint finish to win the junior girls. Sam Plummer pulled away from the field brilliantly to bring Essex the intermediate boys title. Innes Fitzgerald with the performance of the day, winning by 52 seconds for the senior girls. And then George Cootie reversing the 1-2 with Luke Birdseye from the Inter-Counties. This time it was the North Yorkshireman who tasted gold. I said to you that mighty oaks out of acorns do grow, and who knows what platform we may see today's winners on in the future. They could be triathletes, they could be track athletes, they could be administrators, they could even, God forbid, turn into commentators. Thanks very much for watching. The track English Schools Champs is happening right at the end of June and the start of July. If you've got some spare time, come and volunteer. We have to keep this platform going for the future of British athletics. From everyone at Nottingham, a very good afternoon and goodbye.